Live.
You can paint this with purple.
Clip Brock.
82.7 FM in Greenville, 104.1 in Washington. We're on 1250, 930. We have finally made it to game week, and we'll talk all things EC. Join us. We'll get his thoughts on the coming up later on this hour. Number one, we will has gone up and way UCF with the big man coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll get Ronnie Woodward's thoughts on the game at 4:30. And Troy D will join me here in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll talk to ECU Athletics Director Jon Gilbert a few days ahead of the ECU 2020 season opener. So, big show on tap, big week on tap as we gear up for Saturday's Bud Light pregame tailgate, bright and early, 8 a.m., right here on the Voice of the Pirate Nation. Jonathan Ellerbe here to kick it off on a Monday edition of Pirate Radio Live. Hello, Jonathan.
Game week, Clip Brock. What a beautiful couple of words you can say right there. And not the first game of the season on September the 26th, which is even more bizarre, but I 20.
And man, you know Mike Houston's ready. You know those players are ready that have gone through practice for this long. And we'll finally get to play an opponent coming up on Saturday. That opponent will be UCF. And they rolled up 49 on Georgia Tech, 49-21, the final in Atlanta on Saturday. They're the real deal. Dillon Gabriel is the real deal. And, man, what a tough task for Blake Harrell in his first game as defensive coordinator.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to have to rely on the experience of Holt Nailers in the offense to really help score a lot of points, I believe, to keep up with this UCF offense, because they looked outstanding in Atlanta the other day. And they kind of pretty much were doing whatever they wanted to. And it is going to be a tough start for Blake Harrell and his squad. But, hey, look, it's going to be an unusual start, too, as no fans in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. Just a few of the players' families in the stands. So certainly going to be an unusual day, but I think people are excited, but the point spread is high. I know you're talking to the big man in a little bit, but man, it's
well, I saw it come out at 23-24. Now I'm looking at it, I see 27, Ellerbe.
Yeah, Circa put it out on Sunday at 23, and then I think other places opened it at like 25.5, and now it has creeped up to close to 4 touchdowns. A big man just tweeting that he loves the over in the UCF ECU game on Saturday, which he has it at 72.5, which obviously at 49-21 is getting it right up there, a similar score. So it's going to have to be a shootout, I guess, if you know, and maybe mistakes. Can Blake Harrell's defense create some opportunities? You know, can UCF give some gifts to the Pirates?
Man, how many stops, how many times will UCF be stopped? I mean, do you remember back in the Lincoln Riley era, we were so confident that the offense would score 35, 42 points. We used to say, okay, if they can get like 2 stops today, we'll be all right because our offense will cover enough. Hopefully we have that kind of offense because we're going to have to stay with them. Georgia Tech, I mean, UCF spotted Georgia Tech 7 and then decided to, okay, we'll wake up and we'll start scoring touchdowns. So it's almost like Dillon Gabriel and that UCF offense can score just about whenever they want to and any way they want to. I mean, he had 417 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. They had 3 wide receivers with 94 or more yards. Otis Anderson is still there, 88 yards rushing, had a touchdown. And something else that concerns me, and watching Georgia Tech, Florida State, I know that their young quarterback for Georgia Tech, Sims, he's a good runner, not a great passer, but 5 turnovers. They had 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles. So the fact that UCF forced those turnovers, they're going to be strong on defense as well.
Well, I think the thing that impressed me the most about UCF's win over Georgia Tech is this wasn't Georgia Tech's first game. You know, they had game experience under them. It was UCF's first game, and they were able to boat race the Yellow Jackets out of the stadium down there in Atlanta. So what Georgia Tech was able to do the week before to go on the road and beat Florida State, no matter where Florida State is with their program right now with a new coach and all, but that's the part that is scary to me of what UCF brings to the table. But hey, look, it's going to be drinking from a fire hose when they kick off at noon on Saturday, and the Pirates better be ready because the Knights are going to bring it all they want. And, you know, they're sitting there in the top 25, top 15 right now.
Yeah.
And all they want to, they just want to continue their resume. I mean, and look, this is a UCF team that's used to winning. I mean, they haven't lost but like 3 games in the last 2 years or so. So this is a team and a program, although they're now under Josh Heupel. I mean, they're a program that's, they're looking to kick some rear ends and take some names.
Not that long ago, and I say that 5 years ago, ECU was beating a winless UCF team pretty bad. So Scott Frost got it turned around quickly, hands over the reins to Josh Heupel, and now they are, as you said, a top 15 team in the country.
Hard to believe the George O'Leary, UCF ending there, where it just really crashed and burned. They went winless, and then the next year, I think they got to 500, went to a bowl game, and then, of course, the rest is history from there.
Ellerbe, that one coming up on Saturday at noon. It was nice to have a fall football Saturday, the little nip in the air over the weekend, and Pac-12 potentially being back soon. So it's here, and it's a lot of fun. I watched some other games over the weekend, and the Green Wave 27-0 in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, that had to be, I think that's more impressive than what the Cowboys did to the Falcons when you're looking at the football weekend, because I saw that score on the bottom line on Saturday, and I was like, wow. October 17th is starting to look a little more favorable, and then Navy's not really a good comeback team either. They're not built to come back that strong, so that was just incredible. And then Georgia State, the Pirates' next opponent, gave everything and some to Louisiana, but just came up short.
They led the majority of that game, ended up losing in overtime to Louisiana. But those, Georgia State on the docket after UCF, by the way, that will be a noon kickoff. Coming up in Atlanta a couple Saturdays from now on ESPNU. So you'll be able to watch it if you're not making the trip to Atlanta. I know some Pirate fans are going to try to get down there and watch the Pirates in person for the first time this season.
Yeah, I mean, that is an opportunity. Turner Field will be hosting. I guess, I don't know, it's not Turner Field anymore, but that's the
they're going to play at the Big Ted.
Yeah, the former home of the Ted there. So I mean, you can go actually sit and watch the Pirates play down there. But to me, the fun part of the weekend clip, which I really kind of felt like re-energized again with football season, was I was out at a sports bar watching some of the games, and the energy was when I would see the bottom line of some scores again on the bottom and being like, oh, Tulane's crushing Navy. I mean, that to me this weekend really felt like football was back. I mean, I think this weekend when the SEC kicks into play, I think that's really where it's really gonna feel big. I mean, because you're going to start seeing more and more highlights of Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, and the SEC is just so dominant. But plus, of course, the big news is East Carolina kicking off here locally. But to me, I think it's going to feel more like a regular, normal football Saturday this coming up weekend.
Yeah, and I always like to look ahead at what's up after the fifth quarter, because we'll be here 8 to noon on the Bud Light pregame tailgate, and then with you after the game on the U.S. Sailor fifth quarter call-in show. And I need a nightcap, Ellerbe, when I get home.
Right.
I need NC State, which we all hate, are very fun. They were playing at warp speed against Wake. That was a wild one the other night. A lot of fun to watch. They'll be on at night again, facing Virginia Tech, as they'll finally try to get this game in. We'll get to see some Hokies football. We hate them as well.
Yeah, the Wolfpack went from noon U to primetime U.
Apparently so. They're on at night again, and I'll hate watch that one coming up at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. So it's nice to get a full slate of college football games on Saturday, of course, headlined by UCF and ECU.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to, for the past 17 years, this is our 18th year doing the Bud Light pregame tailgate, the U.S. Sailor fifth quarter call-in show. One of the fun parts, I won't have the tailgate experience of actually being out at Elmhurst and being with the Pirate Nation, just like I know everybody wants to be, but I'll be at my home gating, I guess, dialing in to Pirate Radio and listening to that's going to be gonna kind of get me re-energized and back into a regular routine of what we kind of do on fall Saturdays. And I'm super excited about our coverage, the expansion of YouTube and all the video stuff we've done. So hopefully people with smart TVs will dial in on YouTube or Facebook Live, comment, join you guys. Shirley doing the scoreboards throughout the pregame and postgame. That always gets me excited of following other games as well. So this Saturday is going to be a lot of fun.
Tune in on Saturday. We'll make you feel like things are at least a little bit back to normal, because we got a packed show for you. The voice, Jeff Charles, will join us. We'll talk to folks from the UCF side of things. Igo, Ronnie, Brian Bailey, all in studio. Billy Weaver, Brian North, Troy D out at the stadium as we take you up to that kickoff.
And then after the game, Clip Brock, what will the fans be talking about? How will the script be written? The first game of the East Carolina football season, the first 4 quarters. We'll recap it all in the 5th quarter with your calls.
They're going to be asking, is ECU top 25 now that they knocked off UCF?
You know, I loved Coach Smith when you had him in studio last week, and he's going to be a part of the 5th quarter this year. Coach Rick Smith, you're asking him the DB questions on the show of like,
why didn't the DB turn his head around?
Right.
And why is he lined up so far off the line of scrimmage on the receiver?
See, I want you to do that this week when Bryce Williams is in here. You got to get some tight end questions. So why don't we throw the ball to tight end over the middle more?
Why don't we use their tight end?
Yes. All this, you need to start of all your history of in the 5th quarter. You need to go back with Clip's top 5 questions that you get every year. And
why is the play calling so terrible? And just everything I yell at the TV when the Washington's playing is what people call in with the questions on the 5th quarter.
Right. Well, it'd be too soon to fire somebody in the 5th quarter this week.
Week 1 of year 2 of Mike Houston. Is it too soon to talk about that? Game 1 for Blake Harrell. So we get rid of it. I mean, and that's what it is. It's emotional. It's fun. You're reacting to what you just saw. You're still either super excited and you think ECU's going to run the table, or you're down and depressed and think they might not win a game. So that's what it's all about. Call in, give us your thoughts on Saturday.
The one thing I'm really excited about is just because we have the privilege of being able to go out to practice and interact with the players and coaches and stuff, but really to kind of key in and watch some, because we hadn't seen any of these. There was no spring football, there was no purple gold game. There's what does CJ Johnson look like in year 2? What does Blake Prohl look like in year 2?
Who emerges as a running back?
Yeah, who are some names on defense that are going to stand out on Saturday and help slow down this UCF team, we hope. So there's so many things to watch, and then maybe make some notes for the 5th quarter call-in show, to call in and talk to Coach Smith and Clip after the game, especially you defensive. With Coach Smith being in here, I know how he watches the game, and he's going to be watching it in the trenches. That's what he's always said before. So there's going to be a lot of things that everybody's going to be seeing for the first time, and I think that's the part I'm excited about for Saturday.
Well, you want to talk about trenches, Ellerbe? He's already got you covered because he had his folder the Friday when we talked to him. I told him to save it for this week. He's got some pretty startling numbers when it comes to the size of UCF and their lines compared to the size of ECU and our offensive and defensive lines. So stay tuned for Friday on Pirate Radio Live. He's got those numbers.
You may have to break out the "Are you nervous?" sounder.
I don't even know if nervous is the word. I mean,
can you? What's when you're not nervous? What's beyond nervous? You're just flat out scared.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all about expectations, right? What do you expect to happen on Saturday?
What do I expect to happen? I expect a competitive game for maybe 3 quarters, and then maybe UCF, and they win by 20.
Yeah, I'm kind of there as well. I expect UCF to score in the high 40s, low 50s.
Yeah, I
expect us to get close to 30 and put some points on the board.
That's exactly what I was going somewhere, 52-35, somewhere in there, 52-31. I could see the game being like that. East Carolina, either UCF or East Carolina getting a late score to keep it within the 20 mark. I want to be optimistic that I think the Pirates can keep it competitive for long enough, but I just think the talent and depth of UCF, just based on what I saw and based on what I have not seen anything on East Carolina.
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, it's just it's just really hard to predict, other than based on what we've seen the last 2 or 3 years, and there's just got to be cause for concern. There's a reason there's a new defensive coordinator.
And you hope that what we saw in the second half of the UCF game last year can carry on this year, where the Pirates were able to get a stop or two, were able to put some points on the board, get back in the game, and that's what it's about. I mean, can you get this team off the field and let your offense go to work, put together a drive, put some points on the board, and keep it tight and make it a game and put some pressure on them.
And the Pirates did that last year. They had some back and forth games late in the year. Cincinnati, I think SMU were those 2 games that the Pirates just didn't have enough gas to win, but they were certainly hanging tough.
We shall see coming up Saturday when the Pirates take on the Knights once again. 8 a.m. Our coverage begins on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. We're looking forward to a big day on Saturday. As look, the players and coaches and fans have been waiting for Pirate football. We've been waiting for a game day for a while around here too. Ellerbe, did you watch the NFL yesterday?
I watched a little bit. I was in-law lives in Atlanta, so I felt super sorry for him and the Falcons. I saw Brady highlights of they pretty much know that the Chiefs and the Ravens are looking good.
Sure. Chiefs struggled yesterday with the rookie Herbert coming in from San Diego. Were able to win in overtime, but those two teams are on a collision course for the AFC Championship. They'll play on Pirate Radio. Didn't play?
No, I did not watch.
Okay.
But I knew you were nervous about Kyler Murray and playing the Arizona.
And I was right about that. He ran all the now. Poor Igo lost his quarterback, his top receiver. So the Broncos are pretty much toast already. Saquon Barkley out for the year. The Giants are done. It was a rough Sunday for injuries across the league.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos really haven't been relevant since they beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl.
They haven't.
But, I mean, at least they won the Super Bowl. The Giants
haven't been relevant since they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but hey, look, at least they won the Super Bowl. And then I thought one of the big stories that's kind of was going around on Twitter, it seemed to pop up every time I was off and on Twitter today, was Brett Favre at the Buccaneers game. Any insight on that clip of what he was doing there?
Did you see his shirt?
Yeah, he had
the Brady Buck shirt on.
Yeah,
the Buck head, but it was Brady, and I don't know what he was doing there.
Did he lose his deal with Wrangler, and now he's teamed up with Brady to start selling some of his clothes?
I saw a Bucks player say, "So Brett Favre can come to our game, but my parents can't." I was like, interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey, look, there is privileges. I guess if you're a Hall of Fame quarterback, you can.
There is such thing as Hall of Fame quarterback privilege.
That you can just walk.
America,
you can walk into
any stadium. Ficklin Saturday, would they let him in?
I think if you wore your yellow jacket, that should be a free admission to any football stadium anywhere.
It's kind of like the key to the city.
I think so. To football stadiums, yeah. I mean, if he came in town and he wanted to go into Rose High School and watch the Friday night game, if there was a normal, I would think that would almost be like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, who's going to ask like this NCAA test and all? I mean, I don't know if he's studied or if that's just a formality or what it is, but I mean,
there's a lot of dumb coaches out there. It's probably pretty easy.
Yeah, it must be. It must be. Who knows? But that'll be interesting if how Primetime does things and if he's successful.
Should we get them on the schedule just so we get Primetime here? That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. I mean,
get an interview with him.
You think he's going to be knocking on Florida State's door first?
I would think so. I would think a lot of those schools in the South to get their school's name out there. He'll be playing some primetime games.
Absolutely.
All right, Ellerbe, thanks for hanging out, man. Enjoyed it.
Looking forward to this weekend, Saturday, 8 a.m. I'll be up bright and early, and then all-day coverage, and we'll see. It's going to be so much fun all week long. I can really feel the energy in town, and hopefully folks will dial into us, and who knows? I said last week, well, they shocked the world. Now with the number that came out, I think originally I said 13. What'd you have it at? Like
17.
17.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think the number's right on somewhere in that 25, 27 range, but hopefully the Pirates can keep it under that.
What's guess the line? ECU at Georgia State next Saturday.
ECU, that's their good question of the week right there. I'm going to go Georgia State.
Could be some overreacting, but I would say Georgia State. Ryan Bailey will join us. We'll get his thoughts on ECU, UCF, and break down a week 2 of the NFL. All that and more on the way on Pirate Radio Live. Back with you after this.
Medicare is not one size fits all, but which plan is right for you? Hi, I'm Denise Walker, and I'm a licensed insurance agent here in North Carolina. Whether you are turning 65, new to Medicare, or already have a plan, I can help you compare your Medicare options. I can help you find a plan offering low to no monthly premiums, prescription drug coverage, and a wide range of additional benefits like dental, hearing, vision, and more. Call me today at 434-531-5674 to get a no-cost, no-obligation Medicare benefits review.
Hello, Pirate Nation. This is Representative John Bell, the Majority Leader of the North Carolina House, and it has been an honor serving the people of Eastern North Carolina the last 8 years. I've had the privilege of working with your local representatives, Dr. Perrin Jones and Chris Humphrey, as they delivered hundreds of millions of dollars in COVID relief funding to our small businesses, healthcare providers, and families right here in Pitt County. Unfortunately, their opponents are funded by radical liberal out-of-state donors that want to destroy our agriculture heritage, defund the police, and silence your voice by buying this election. This is not North Carolina. We cannot and will not let this happen. Dr. Perrin Jones and Chris Humphrey are focused on solutions, not revolutions. They will make sure your voice is heard and represent our Eastern North Carolina values. So Pirate Nation, the choice is clear. On November 3rd, please support and vote for Dr. Perrin Jones and Chris Humphrey for the North Carolina House. Strong voices for Eastern North Carolina. Paid for by the John Bell Committee.
Buying a vehicle should be a fun experience and not one where you're bounced around from person to person. This is Mary from the Auto Store Group, and we offer an honest, no-pressure, hometown store approach to selling vehicles. The Auto Store Group has 3 locations and over 150 quality used vehicles to choose from. Shop our entire inventory at theautostoregroup.com. And remember, every purchase comes with a free bucket of fun. The Auto Store Group, pirate-owned and operated for over 38 years. Start shopping today for your next vehicle at theautostoregroup.com.
You don't need a big meeting. You don't need a birthday. You don't need any excuse at all. You just need to love subs. Times 12. Order the Jersey Mike's catering box today. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above. Tired of cooking at home? Change it up without getting up. Just order Mike's.
Hey Pirate fans, this is Head Coach Mike with Orthopedic Care, Physical Therapy, and Diagnostic Testing. For experienced and professional services, call the folks who have been taking care of me and many of our fans in Pirate Nation, or visit them online at orthopedicseast.com. Go Pirates!
Did you know you can help prevent natural gas emergencies? Whether you're planting a tree, putting up a fence, landscaping, or starting an excavation project, Greenville Utilities strongly encourages you to follow the law.
Chips on it though, Greg Brady style.
Or cream cheese and jalapeno jelly,
Cobra Kai. Or bacon, a fried egg, and some cheese, Chiplet.
Or just cheese, you know, like a cheeseburger.
Cool, I'll take a Greg Brady with those new cheese fries you guys got.
Sounds good.
Oh, I forgot. Can I get us out of ranch?
No! Jack Brown's, 805 Dickinson Avenue, Greenville.
Welcome aboard the Pirate Ship of Fun.
Pirate Radio.
Prepare for the adventure of a lifetime.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to Hour 1 of Pirate Radio Live. Now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back. Greenville Utilities Neighbor to Neighbor program provides help for those who need temporary assistance with their utility costs, and you can make a difference. Your tax-deductible donation can be added to your GUC bill each month, or you can make a one-time donation, and GUC matches all donations up to $20,000 each year. Consider helping a neighbor with GUC's Neighbor to Neighbor program. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Clip Rock.
Alrighty, Hour 1 of PRL. Coming up in Hour 2, we'll talk about the ECU UCF game and preview Monday Night Football with the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau. Got Ronnie Woodward coming up about an hour from now. Got Troy D. and ECU Athletics Director Jon Gilbert in hour number 3 of our show. Already been a big day here at Pirate Radio because Brian Bailey had an awesome show with Steve Shankwiler at noon on the Brian Bailey Show. If you missed it, you can check it out coming up at 6 o'clock on the replay. Bailey, welcome to Pirate Radio Live. How you doing, man?
Not too bad, not too bad.
I know you're doing good. We'll talk about why in a moment. But you said to you said to Coach Shank, and this was interesting. I never really thought about this. You said that he's probably made more appearances for any ECU coach and maybe for anyone on the Brian Bailey Show due to all his stops. I'd like to see a full running list of the most frequent guests on the Brian Bailey Show throughout the years.
We try to call the Elias Sports Bureau, and they're working on it right now, but they're not sure they can get it to us anytime soon. But yeah, it's really interesting because I've been fortunate enough to do this show for so long, and the coaches have always been good about coming on with me, and Coach Shank was good from day one. And it's fun to talk to those guys. You get to know them, get to be their friends for a long time. I remember I saw Coach Shank when we were down in Miami. He was at Florida International, and we were down in Miami at the NCAA baseball regionals, and I caught up with him for the first time since I guess that was after stint number 3 in East Carolina, and then him coming back with Coach Houston. I thought he had some great things to say. I hope if folks didn't hear it at noon, let's listen to it again at 6 because he had some really cool things to say.
And Bailey, we go into just about every year, wondering if the ECU offensive line is going to be enough to keep the quarterback clean and to open some holes for the running backs. It's a position, and coaches will always tell you, especially here at ECU, that's just tough to recruit. There's just not that many 6'7", 300-pound guys out there, and if there are, they're usually going somewhere else other than ECU. So that's why an O-line coach is so important. That's why a strength coach is so important to try to develop these guys. But we'll see what we got for the 2020 ECU offensive line coming up Saturday against a very good opponent that doesn't just put up a lot of points, Bailey. UCF will play some defense, too.
Yeah, and this is the first time he's ever been on with me. I didn't ask him about the Dancing Bears. Because years ago, somebody said, yeah, Coach Shank has got the Dancing Bears, and everybody just kind of picked it up. And then, we kept it going. And Coach Shank has said in the past, I don't know where that came from and what it means, but if it means we're doing well, that's a good thing.
All right, so we want to see some Dancing Bears on that O-line this year for ECU. I just looked during the break back at Ellerbe's Phil Steele collection at when was the last time ECU was this big of an underdog for a season opener, Bailey? And I thought back to... And I thought it might be this game. The opener against South Carolina, 2011 in Charlotte, Steve Spurrier's Gamecocks were 21-point favorites. ECU actually lost that game by 19, so they covered. They were up at halftime. Things were looking good at that game. But, man, this opener is about as tough as it gets for ECU, and the toughest one I can recall in recent memory.
Yeah, I mean, for an opening game, and really – it wasn't supposed to be that way, and this is supposed to be game number 4. But COVID-19 is taking so much from everybody, so you just have to do good. But UCF, they got to a little bit of a slow start. Tech scored early, but after that, man, I'll tell you what, UCF is really good.
It almost looked like they needed to wake up a little bit, and if they needed to score on Saturday, they could score, Bailey. They got down and then took the lead and were kind of coasting, and then if Georgia Tech got back in the game at all, Dylan Gabriel just said, all right, I'm going to throw another touchdown. That was pretty much the case on Saturday.
Yeah, we're going to see some southpaw quarterbacks on Saturday, aren't we?
Yeah, Meador, you guys were talking about that on the tail end of the Brian Bailey show, and I've thought about it too, that, in the NFL you don't see any lefties, and Tua's in the league right now with Miami, but there was a stat that I think the last left-handed player to throw a touchdown in the NFL, I don't know if it's still true or not, but for a while it was Des Bryant on a trick play, Bailey, and I don't know if that's still the actual trivia there or if it's been updated, but just not a lot of lefty quarterbacks in the NFL in modern history, and we're going to see 2 very good ones on Saturday.
Who's the best ever left-handed quarterback? Maybe?
Steve Young.
Stabler?
I mean, that was a little before my time. The best I've seen is, I think, Steve Young, Boomer Esiason, but probably, Steve Young. Or maybe Kellen Moore.
Yeah, maybe.
Is he still with Dallas, or is he gone?
He's offensive coordinator, yeah.
He stuck around.
He did.
Bailey's jacked up because his Cowboys had an improbable victory on Sunday. I can't believe they actually can't. And Bailey, you rightfully so. I had some tweets that, as you said, did not age well because I thought that game was over. I thought Washington was just going to they could do exactly what they did yesterday against Arizona and still be alone in first place, but an improbable comeback and one of the best onside kicks you'll ever see in NFL history.
That was the crazy, because when you're down, and the Cowboys played a horrible game. If they don't play any better than that, they're not going to win 5 or 6 games.
Okay, well, it don't matter. All you got to do is be 6-10. You'll win the division.
That may be true. That may be true. But it's just a matter of when you're down like that, and you have to score, and you have to kick an onside kick, and your odds of getting that kick are just ridiculous now because they've changed the rules so much. And for that, and I was telling you earlier, I was on the road yesterday, so I was listening on the radio. And those guys were going nuts. I couldn't wait to get home to see it because the way they described it, it was like the ball spinning, and they jumped on it. They got it. And the sideline went nuts, and few of the Falcons.
They were watching it just like us fans were, and then Dallas was ready to go. But, you know, it's one thing to do. I mean, the execution on that by Zerline and his team being ready to go, I got to give your boys a little bit of credit on that.
Well, you know, I'm sure, obviously, they practice it a lot, but that spin, you've got to be lucky, because obviously the Falcons looked at it and didn't think it was going to go 10.
Yeah.
You know, the point of the rule is, though, they can touch it at any time.
Dive on it.
I think, just dive on it. But I think what they were thinking was, if I dive on it and don't get it, and then it squirts out, then I'm the guy that's in trouble. But yeah, it was really one of the strangest plays you'll ever see. And you know, a lot of times when somebody says, your team got lucky, and you're like, oh, you know, you ready to fight? I'm not ready to fight over that one. That was really lucky.
Brian Bailey joining us. Bailey, I wish there was almost a week in between NFL games, because there's like so many storylines, so many things to break down. I mean, I wouldn't mind if the Patriots and Seahawks played every week. That was an awesome game last night. Cam Newton looked great. Russell Wilson looks like an MVP. You got the reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson, dominating. The Chiefs had a scare yesterday, but they win in overtime. Young Kyler Murray and his Cardinals are 2-0. Tom Brady gets his first win as a Buck. The Rams are 2-0. They take it to the Eagles. And also Phillip Rivers gets his first win as a Colt. But also, Bailey, you got a rash of injuries and some really big names that were hurt yesterday. There's so much to unpack. But as you know, Bailey, you say it all the time, football season flies by. You almost don't have time to recap. You got to get ready for the next week.
That's exactly right. You've got to be ready to go and get ready for round 2. But back to that onside kick real quick. We got
to talk about that more. I'd moved on from that, Bailey. We got to go back to that.
Well, now, I just want to bring this up because it's kind of a local point. But Coach Houston said, we've got the tape for that, and we're going to show it to the entire team, because that's a great teaching moment right there.
Yeah.
You know, if that ball's like that, you know, the rule is you can jump on it. You need to jump on it. You get on it, and don't let that happen. And, you know, he said, guys just don't, you know, they think they know the rules. They practice everything, but sometimes something slips through the cracks. And he said, that's not going to slip through the cracks.
And that's an interesting point too. And Glenn asked a question last week to Coach Houston about those special plays. You know, the Hail Marys, the onsides, the kind of kill the clock, get on the field, kick a field goal at the end of a half. Like those things, you got to prepare for everything. It seems like it's almost impossible to do every situation, but the coaches have to do it. And you know, when they pick up something new like what they saw yesterday, it's something you can implement at your practice.
Yeah, and it's just it's really. You know, once you thought you've seen everything, you'll see something else. And that's basically what we saw yesterday, because there's no way, you know, when he laid the ball down like he did, I thought, what, you know, they described, I was listening on the radio, and they said, let's talk about it some more.
Enough. And I pointed this out on the Brian Bailey Show. No time for NFL talk last week on the Brian Bailey Show. You carved out a good 20 minutes today, Bailey. I noticed that.
Coach Shank had to leave.
Whatever.
He's a busy man today.
Yeah, whatever. Good stuff, Bailey. Good. Got Monday Night Football on Pirate Radio, that is, tonight, as the Raiders open up their new stadium in Las Vegas. What's tougher, Bailey, not saying Washington Redskins or not saying Oakland LA Raiders?
You know, the Raiders thing hasn't, for whatever reason, that's stuck with me, where I can just, you know, I think about it before I say it, so I'll say Las Vegas Raiders.
All right.
The Redskin thing, I just can't get it. You know, if I'm talking about the Washington football team, I say the Redskins first, then I have to back up and say the Washington football team. And the thing that cracked me up was the thing that you said you've seen it before. CBS Sports puts all the nicknames up for the standings, and they got football team. 1-1.
I mean, have some common sense and just put Washington on the
just
TV.
Put Washington. I mean, you know,
I didn't.
It's just that to me that's hilarious.
I didn't mind as much when they were in first place, but now it's bothering me that they're not anymore.
Undefeated, it was okay, but now they're 1-1.
Washington football team has Cleveland coming up this Sunday, and what a treat for the Pirate Radio listeners. That will be on Pirate Radio, Bailey. So Browns.
What a treat.
Yeah, Washington. Get that all over you, as Mark Packer used to say. Your boys got the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
That's trouble.
Seattle. So that's going to be tough. They played really well last night.
They look to be the real deal, although they have some issues defensively as well. So the Cowboys might just, play some high-scoring games all year. We'll see.
Yeah, they might, because that game could be 55-50 if it goes like so far.
Bailey, did you know? You probably did, but it's weird to think about. Next Tuesday, the MLB playoffs will begin. Isn't that weird?
Wow, I did not know.
Yeah, next Tuesday is the first day of the Major League Baseball playoffs. Your Cubs and my Braves will be a part of it, but there's something to add to your sports calendar that you probably weren't thinking about.
Yeah, and it's such an odd deal right now, the way the playoffs are going to be. I just don't know. Your Braves have had a good year. My Cubs have had a good year, but how long are they going to last in the playoffs? Was it 2 out of 3 for the first series?
I got to figure that out because they now they have 16 teams in, so they're gonna they expanded the playoffs. I'm not sure about the games. It should be best of 5, right, to start.
I can't. No, I don't know. I thought I read somewhere that there was
no. You're right.
buys.
You're right. Better. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, and that's good for the Braves because they don't have more than 2 pitchers. So that'll be a positive for us, hopefully.
It's just going to be odd with no fans again, and I think baseball is stranger with no fans than the other sports. Well, NBA is pretty weird. That's pretty weird. Those computerized whatever they are in the stands for the NBA games.
I'm kind of used to it by now, and I think they've done a pretty good job with it. Football, I'm still coming around on, as it sounds like, Bailey, and Morgan talked about it on Friday when he joined us, and I'm trying to get Eric Ward on the show this week, but ECU, if UCF agrees, will be able to pump in some crowd noise on Saturday.
Yeah, and there's some stipulations that go with that too. From what I've been told, is that it's the same level all the time. It doesn't go up and down. It's just, one level. I think it's going to be strange too. I don't know what that's going to sound like, but I think the whole day Saturday is going to be one bizarre afternoon at the football stadium.
One bizarre afternoon. And we'll be here to cover it all right here on Pirate Radio. Brian Bailey going to join us in the 9 o'clock hour on the Bud Light pregame tailgate, and we might get a live report. So you're going to the game, Bailey, but you will not be on the sideline this Saturday?
Correct. Yeah, everybody's staying, and you understand it because, I don't even really, I do a lot of work with Coach Houston, and I really try to stay away from him the best I can, because the worst thing you'd ever do is if you happen to, go through a bout with it and, spread the stuff. So you've tried everything you can to wear your mask when you can, socially distance all you can. But they're trying to keep the team in a bubble type situation. But Mike Norville from Florida State tested positive over the weekend. That was crazy, yeah. And but you're right, Bailey. You don't want to be the one that gives the team COVID and they have to sit out players. And that would be awful. You don't want to be the one, but then again, you don't want to be around. And then this thing is so crazy. The stuff you read and the stuff, you talk to people, and now at least in my life, I'm starting to see different people that I know that's gone through it, had it. Yeah. Some have had mild symptoms. Some have had, been really sick for 3 or 4 days, but luckily nothing, too major. But still, it's just, I wish it would go away, but it ain't going away anytime soon. Nah, it appears not. But the good news is there will be football Saturday at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. Exactly right. And the Pirates and Knights will be playing. I asked Ellerbe earlier, and we both gave our answers. We both said somewhere low 50s to low 30s. UCF coming out on top. I mean, what kind of game are you expecting on Saturday? Yeah, and every time we say something like that, it'll turn into a 20-13 slugfest. But I don't know how it doesn't turn into a high school game. I mean, I just think the Pirates have a lot of firepower on offense. They're going to look to ball some, run it downhill if they can do that. And I really, like I asked Coach Shank, it's one of the strategies you keep the football out of their hands, and he said we want to do that, but we want to play fast as well. Yeah. So I think that I don't know if it's one of those games where you have to score every time you touch the football, but it seems like there's going to be a lot of points. Wake and NC State turned into one of those games Saturday night. That was a fun game to watch, Bailey. I don't remember the Wolfpack playing at that warp speed like they were. Both teams were flying up and down the field, and I don't know. Maybe we'll see that type of game coming up when ECU takes on UCF. How about the following week, Bailey? Are you headed to Atlanta, or are you going to be around here? I'll be around here. I just don't think that, you just don't have any access when you get down there. I mean, if you could go down there and interview players after the games and stuff, but you can't do any of that.
Right.
Kind of one of those things that just get on the Zoom and do your interviews.
We'll be Zooming, apparently. Bailey, enjoyed it, man. Thanks for hanging out. Congrats to your boys, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Sounds good. We'll be there.
Double B, Brian Bailey joining us on Pirate Radio Live. You can check out the Brian Bailey Show if you missed it earlier, coming up at 6 o'clock. Great conversation with Steve Shankweiler. Not a great conversation with Brian Meador as they talked about the improbable Cowboys come from behind victory that we saw on Sunday. All right, we'll take a timeout, come back, and wrap up hour number 1. We'll see what Shirley Rhodes has for us at the Shirley Rhodes news desk. I see that your paper is about half full today, Shirley, so you got some news to note.
It's most of it you've kind of covered, but we've got a couple of things that we'll discuss.
All right, we will divvy out those nuggets for you right after this.
Hey guys, listen up. The next 30 seconds is very important because we have an announcement. Shimmer Boutique is your one-stop shop to make you look good and thoughtful. This is Ashley at Shimmer Boutique. We specialize in men's and women's apparel and also carry the biggest selection of local hats and jewelry. From Yetis to Hey Dudes, this is the place for you. Did I mention we also have free gift wrapping? Come check us out at our new location on Greenville Boulevard behind Starbucks. Shimmer is your one-stop shop for the whole family, and we will always make your shopping experience easy and fun.
Hey guys, do you have those yellow overgrown toenails? Is your lady complaining that you have rough feet? If you're embarrassed to wear flip-flops or sandals, then the Man Cave is the spot for you. The Man Cave is Greenville's newest premier destination that provides professional manicures, pedicures, and hair services for men only. We even offer a special membership if you dare to join the Gentlemen's Club. What happens in the Man Cave stays in the Man Cave. So book your appointment today at mancaveandnails.com. Friends that groom together, stay together.
North Carolina state parks are now open for visitors. Parks should be used for exercise, fresh air, getting out in nature, or a day trip as the state safely reopens. Visitors should enjoy themselves. Remember the 3 W's. Wear face coverings, wait 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often. Focus on moving through the park, keep social distancing in mind, and avoid large groups. While most facilities and activities will be open, please contact any state park before your visit with questions or visit ncparks.gov/open.
If you're like many, you may have put on the Corona 5, 10, or even 15 over the last 2 months. Well, the weather is warm and it's time to get that body back on track. At Clean Eats, we have you covered. Our weekly meal plan will quickly help you get back to where you want to be. Order online at cleaneats.com. Our cafe is back open, sanitized, and waiting to serve you healthy lunch and dinner options for dine-in, takeout, curbside, or even delivered through our delivery partners. Clean Eats, it's a lifestyle. 805 Red Banks Road, Arlington Village.
There have been many changes in the automotive world. At Phelps Chevrolet, the Phelps boys are here to take care of you. Mike, Daryl, and 4 of Mr. Phelps' grandsons, Wade, West, Allen, and Clay. You see, things at Phelps remain the same. The Phelps team has served Eastern North Carolina for over 50 years. We make your visit easy and fun. We are your neighbors, and that's what neighbors do. Phelps Chevrolet in Greenville. Like Mr. Phelps' great-granddaughter says, come in and get you one.
At US Cellular, we speak fair. When we say you don't have to pay activation fees, we mean it. Plus, right now when you switch, you also get $700 toward the latest phones. Yep, we mean that too. Upgrade to fair with US Cellular. Promotional pricing requires an unlimited everyday or even better plan. New line port and credit approval. Qualified smartphone purchase and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional restrictions apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop your phone off on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all of your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent.
It's bow time.
Years from now, you'll tell your grandkids. Back in my day, we could get 2 Bodangle sausage biscuits for just $2.50. And those biscuits, shoot, they were always made from scratch. And that zesty sausage, sizzling like the summer of 2033. Then your grandkids will say, wow, 2020 sounds amazing. And you'll say, Not really, but those biscuits were. Get 2 sausage biscuits for just $2.50.
It's bow time.
This is assistant football coach Drew Dudzik, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to Hour 1 of Pirate Radio Live. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. It's easy to see mosquitoes and fire ants, but don't forget about moisture and termites destroying your home from underneath. And Pirate Radio Live here.
Talk about his first weekend as an employee of Barstool Sports as well, with the big man coming up. And just a little bit, got Ronnie Woodward in hour 2, got ECU Athletics Director Jon Gilbert joining Troy D and I in hour number 3 of today's show as we have made it to game week.
But you know what? So was prime time. So you know what I'm saying? So it was
on
kind
brand.
of it was on brand. Also, the Houston Texans signed Dwayne Harris to their practice squad.
Nice.
So we've got Dwayne. We're still keeping an eye out on Justin Hardy. There's a lot of wide receivers that went down over the weekend, so he may get a call. So we'll keep an eye on that. Florida State coach Mike Norvell is not going to travel for Saturday's game against Miami. He had tested positive for COVID on Friday, so Deputy Head Coach Chris Thompson will take over. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes coming up on Saturday.
That's been discussed, amongst, the ECU coaching staff. If Mike Houston goes down, what happens? And I think we brought it up with Rick Smith recently, and he said that, it shouldn't be that much of an issue. Everybody kind of knows other jobs on the staff, good enough to put together a good game plan and a good game day. So, but we'll see what happens.
We'll keep up with that. App State and Coastal Carolina will play next Saturday, and they announced the TV time for that. That's a noon kickoff. It'll be on ESPN2.
I like that game. That'll be a fun game.
That'll be an interesting game, especially because Coastal Carolina looked really impressive when they played Campbell. So, I thought they did anyway.
2-0?
Yeah, 2-0. So, and App State is still, are they 2-0 or are they 1-1?
They got herded by the Thundering Herd.
Okay, so they're
Saturday.
1-1 then.
Yep.
So that'll be an interesting game. Of course, we talked about the ECU Georgia State game and what time that kickoff is. It's going to be at noon on the U.
Noon on the U.
And then, of course, the ECU Cincinnati game that's been moved to the Friday night slot on November 7:30. For next Saturday's games, ACC-wise, NC State will be at Pitt next Saturday. That's going to be a noon kickoff on the ACC network. Boston College will host Carolina at 3:30. That's either going to be an ABC or ESPN game.
BC looked good on Saturday.
Yes, they did.
And over Duke.
Duke will host Virginia Tech. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff on the ACC network. Florida State will host Jacksonville State at 4 o'clock, and Virginia will be at Clemson for an 8 o'clock kickoff next Saturday, and that will be on the ACC network. So that's what I've got so far.
Clemson was up 49-0 at halftime on the Citadel, and I think the game finished 49-0, if I'm not mistaken. So they took the foot off the gas and let up a little bit in the second half, but they're pretty dominant. Trevor Lawrence is going to have amazing first half numbers this year, maybe not so amazing second half numbers because they'll pull him from the game. But Virginia, we'll get to see that a couple of weeks from now. Shirley, let's go ahead and take a timeout and wrap up hour number 1. When we return, we'll visit with the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau, get his thoughts on what went down over the weekend, get his thoughts on ECU, UCF, and that line is going up, up, up. So it started around 23. Last time I looked, it's at 27. So people jumping on the Knights and their high-powered offense. We'll see what the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau, has to say about that when we return on Pirate Radio Live on a Monday. Back with you after this.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your CBD store in Greenville has the highest quality CBD products in the country. Your CBD store is the first and only brand that carries USDA certified organic products such as gummies, honey sticks, and high absorption water-soluble liquids, which are all made in the United States. They even offer products for your pet. The educated staff will help you answer any questions, and you can stop in anytime to get a free sample. Your CBD store, locally owned and operated, open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, right beside Douglas in Greenville.
UBE and PirateWear.com are proud to offer the Pirate Nation its largest inventory ever. Brand new Adidas is arriving daily, along with Under Armour, Columbia, and Russell Athletic. UBE is loaded with cargo, and new items are being added daily to PirateWear.com. Be sure to check out our children's store, The Crow's Nest, for all of your young pirates. UBE and PirateWear.com, an ECU tradition for 50 years. Go Pirates!
Ahoy, mateys! To keep those cars clean, you need the Pirates Cove Fast Pass.
The new Pirates Cove Car Wash and Haviland Express Lube on Glen Burnie Road in New Bern is now open. Pirates Cove is now offering Fast Passes for $9.99 for new Fast Pass customers. These Fast Passes are good in New Bern and at all 3 Greenville locations. Visit us in Greenville on Fire Tower Road, Memorial Drive, and on East 10th Street. And now in New Bern on Glen Burnie Road.
So we have you surrounded. Pirates Cove, the official car wash partner of ECU Athletics.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Hey, Dad, what's for dinner?
How about CPW's?
Is that the restaurant with the really good lasagna?
It sure is.
Is that the place we got the awesome meat pizza?
Yep, that's the place. Should we do dine-in or take-out?
I'm tired of eating it. Let's go there!
Just say no to cooking tonight and bring the family, or make it a date night at CPW's. CPW's is open daily at 3 p.m. and has been serving the Greenville community since 1995. CPW's in the Food Lion Shopping Center near the hospital. The icy treat that can't be beat is Sparky Snowballs of Greenville. Right now, for a special time, Sparky Snowballs is open every day from noon to 8 in the Food Truck Rodeo on the corner of Evans Street and Fire Tower Road. Stop by for a delicious icy treat. Plus, did you know Sparky's also has funnel cakes and fried Oreos too? Support your local Food Truck Rodeo every day from noon to 8 on the corner of Evans Street and Fire Tower Road. Sparky Snowballs, serving delicious icy treats to smiling faces for over 20 years. Visit Sparky's on Facebook or SparkySnowballs.com.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Tom Brown from Brown & Wood Cadillac. We've been serving the Pirate Nation in Eastern North Carolina for 83 years. We have 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 showrooms, and 1 goal to make sure you leave a happy customer.
This month at Brown & Wood, get an all-new 2020 Cadillac Escalade and save over $13,000 off. As always, Brown & Wood is the home of the lifetime warranty.
We're located on Greenville Boulevard next to the Convention Center, or shop us online at brownandwoodauto.com.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, W2EI Greenville, WDLX Washington, and W281CH Washington. You're listening to Hour 2 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour is brought to you by The Man Cave, Greenville's newest premier destination for professional manicures, pedicures, and hair services for men only. Book your appointment today at mancaveandnails.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. And PRL this afternoon is also brought to you by Bud Light, who reminds Pirate fans to always stay in the game and drink responsibly. Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Now let's head back into Pirate Radio Live. Here is your host, Clip Brock.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Shirley Rhodes. Shirley, it's game week. You know what that means, right?
Bud Light pregame tailgate.
Exactly. And you know what that means? It's excitement time!
Oh.
Excitement time!
Yes,
I
it
mean,
is.
that could have gone about 100 different ways.
I know. I was just setting up excitement time.
I was just trying to think,
We're having a freaking game.
We have a freaking game, Charlie.
Yeah, we're having a freaking game.
And it'll be Saturday at noon. Pirates and Knights will get you ready for it 8 a.m. Saturday morning on the Bud Light pregame tailgate. After the game, it's the U.S. Sailor 5th quarter call-in show, taking your calls, reading your comments, and we'll have fun with Coach Rick Smith after the game on the U.S. Sailor 5th quarter call-in show. We'll talk a little ECU, UCF now, also recap the weekend that was in the NFL with the BMOC, the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau. He joins us on the Fixed NC Live line now. Big man, how you doing?
Doing well, Clip. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Big man, I watched quite a bit of you on Sunday live in the Barstool Gambling House up there in Philly, and that was pretty awesome, Jeff. Honestly, last year, the Witching Hour live streams became a part of my NFL Sunday, and it was cool to have you and all the guys there watching games, betting on games, live betting on games, sweating it out.